I grew up on the East Coast. It was kind of insular. Wasn't necessarily interested in anyone outside my own community. You know, there was a lot of Italians that I grew up with, and they were mostly Catholic. I really didn't seek out the Jewish community or really know anything about it. It's a bit different in Montana. My relationship with the rabbi really comes through my wife in the business.
I have a business in Bozeman, and I needed to be kosher certified. So I found out and was pleasantly surprised that there was a kosher certifier in the state of Montana.
When I first met the rabbi and his wife, of course there's an instant kinship with anyone that has an East Coast accent. It's got something to say about almost everything.
I come from a Christian background, but we would have some in-depth discussions, sometimes of spiritual nature. I also found out that there were others in his congregation that I know.
The rabbi has, I think, opened my eyes to the vital life of the Jewish community and really admire what it's all about.
Hanukkah begins tonight with the lighting of the first candle at sundown, and this week there are plenty of Hanukkah events going on across the Treasure State.
This isn't a holiday just for Jews, and I want to point that out. Hanukkah is a celebration that's for all human beings, for all people that cherish life, for all people that cherish religious freedom. When we came here, we understood, of course, our primary role is going to be to enhance the Jewish experience, but not limited to the Jewish community. Why should we withhold the beautiful light of Torah, the beautiful light of Chassidus, the beautiful lessons of Tanya, and everything else that the Rebbe represented in his 40 plus years of leadership, and not bring that to the masses?
We have been so lucky to meet so many wonderful people who are not Jews, but are supportive, are interested, want to learn, want to get closer to God.
We have so many similar challenges and obstacles in our lives. You know, we have a child with special needs, we have 5 adopted children. We have our own load of things that we deal with, and because of that, the empathy and the understanding of what other people, Jew or Gentile, are experiencing is a no-brainer.
There were times where my son was, as a young teenage boy, was kind of in desperate straits. He was actually suicidal at one point, and the rabbi just took an interest in my son, and he would have meetings with him and talk to him and give him advice. It wasn't always the advice my son wanted to hear, but he spoke to him like a father, and I found words of wisdom through the rabbi as ways to relate to my son and talk to my son.
Actually, I came to their house once where they were going through a tough situation, and they said, "Rabbi, pray with us." So I prayed like a rabbi. I did part of it in Hebrew, part of it in English, and it was a beautiful thing. They have 2 beautiful members of the community, an active Christian family, praying for their own child in a tough situation, and who are they calling to come for the prayer? The rabbi.
And to this day, he reaches out and cares and says, how is their relationship? Has it healed? Have they forgiven each other? Are things moving forward? And he doesn't have to do that.
When you live in a smaller community where there's this deep recognition about the power and the value of the individual, suddenly homelessness and hunger, you can't say, well, that organization's going to take care of it, or that I have to take care of it.
Javi provides the food. They bring people in. Just an opportunity to speak to people, see them, let them be seen, and see them.
We have Project Dignity, which we've had for a long time, which is having funds to always support a person in need, whether they need to help pay the mortgage, or they need a night in a hotel room, or they need a pair of glasses.
We found out that the CPS room at the Child Protective Services here in Bozeman was a pretty beaten room where the kids were going when they were taken from their homes, and we went to check it out, Javi and I, and God, as bad as we thought it was worse.
It wasn't really okay the way it was before. Like, those are the things that are close to home for me and tug at my heart.
And so we raised money here in the community, and we did a total overhaul of the CPS room.
They provide an example of people who walk the faith. They are godly people who see others, and they see people of all faiths around them, all walks of life, and they don't discriminate.
When our community heard about this need, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer that we come together and we serve our community. We take the lessons that we learn in the synagogue and we bring it to the masses, and there's no greater place in Montana that can use that love than Child Protective Services.
Above and beyond just his Jewish-centric, Jewish community voice, he's a real humanitarian. And so Bozeman benefits from his work with all peoples of all faiths.
We came to Montana to illuminate. Jew, Gentile, young, old, atheist, agnostic, religious, it doesn't matter. Whether it's illumination through education, illumination through celebration, how do you limit that? If you would have asked me 10 years ago, did I think there would be 6 couples serving in Montana for Chabad, I would say, what are you, crazy?
I've gotten so many phone calls from my husband. I can't see 2 inches in front of me.
I asked him once, I said, how many Jewish households are here in Billings? And he says, there's about 450.
Going and holding every Jewish hand and bringing them closer to their Father in heaven. This is a unique type of operation.
I'm like, wow, like look what we did.